At this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to return to my classic homepage. Once again, I'm still way out on that universal level. I need a permission called any payee, which is virtually any user, to any corporation. So we're going to talk worlds here. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm just going to type myself in. We'll just let it search for that. It brings up some pieces, and I'm going to now go down to my training sites down here, and we will find July Denver Training. So basically at this point, from July Denver Training to Brandon, which is me, I'm going to create this virtual bridge between world and user. My home planet is actually, looks like originally I was set up under Morningstar Automotive way back in the day. Okay, so that's my home planet, would be Morningstar. So now I'm going to create this connection between this and this. It basically comes in and says, okay, Brandon, which permissions do you want? Okay, there are tons and tons of different things here. Do you want me to just kind of click on some stuff really quick, or do you want me to talk you through what I would actually be doing? Like, depends on how much. Okay, this is virtually the bridge. Okay, so if you imagine that world and the user, and you're kind of creating, can this person play? How much access does he have? Is he the governor? Is he the administrator? Or is he a salesperson? Or is he a... This is where you set up the levels of where they play. Yep, correct. I want somebody who logs in and all they do is clock in and out. And you could literally set it up that simple. Okay, and then virtually when he logs into his world and he goes into his entity, all he sees is one little icon that says clock in and out. Or maybe change his own password. You know, depending on, like, it's very simple and it'll dynamically build. Even if he sees that there's other doors, he doesn't have keys to technically get into that. Okay? So what we're going to do, basically, this is the permission page to create the bridge. I'm just going to kind of pop down through here and tell you some pieces that I think that we're going to need. Okay, I'm currently in searching options. This creates what's called a quick search, which is basically ways that I can kind of virtually jump around my world. Okay? I'm going to be doing part numbers. Probably not going to be doing barcodes because we're going to be doing services. Eventually, I'll probably do some POs. I'll probably do invoicing. I'm going to leave some of these other pieces off. I'm going to go down to quotes. I'm going to go down to potentially vendors. I'm going to kind of set myself up as a relative admin user. Okay? And I'm also going to potentially do customers. I'm going to skip elements of time, some serialized stuff. Here's some system basics. This will create some links. I'll say, yep, let's allow them to create some carts. So a quick cart says, boom, just similar to, like, say, the fireworks stand or the bike shop, okay? You don't really care about who the customer is per se. Like, you do care, but you're not really trying to track that piece of information. So I've just turned on a couple little pieces right here. We're going to skip some of these other ones. We'll get back to them. Eventually, I'll probably want some customer logs. I'll want my quotes. Here's some yellows. Yellows are basically for anybody. Just because we're in here, I'm just going to turn on a couple, clock in and out, my hours, my history, password and profile. I'll turn on a little calculator so I can kind of like figure out some deals. Say I was trying to work certain percentages or something. And I'm going to keep on scrolling down. So I'm now into the next section, system time and requests. And I'm going to actually skip all of that. Those are all kind of things we'll deal with later.
When you're setting this up with somebody, do you show them this so they can see what?
Okay, they will actually have access to all of this once they actually get inside their own little world and they're creating their different people. So as a consultant, what you do is once you know where some of these pieces are and how they play, you could literally go in and be like, okay, I know we're going to have Johnny and Sally and myself or whatever it might be. You pop this in, you can pop it in even before you potentially show up at their place. You're like, Johnny, here's your username. Sally, here's your username. Maybe you already kind of know their roles. And so you've already kind of prepped it. So basically what you do is you land on a world and those people are already ready to play. Like we're going from raw. Like there's nothing that we currently have set up, okay? So once I set myself up, then we can go in and we can actually start creating a user and you guys can log in and create yourselves or whatever we want, depending on how we want to situate it, okay? But that's a great question, great question. Okay, the next part deals with some reports. Like, once again, I'm kind of semi-admin, so I'm going to say, yep, I do want the history page. What it does is this says what happened today, yesterday, weeks ago, months ago. Like this virtually says what is the roll call for what's happening in the system. Pretty high admin. You'll notice that the colors, I'm going to scroll back up towards the top real quick, but the colors are actually organized from light all the way to more of a reds and purples and silvers. Most of you guys won't even see these type of ones right here, the maroons and the black. Those are more on that universe level where it's kind of like, okay, this is a master controller type thing. But you'll see from yellow clear out to silver. And silver are kind of specialty permissions. So as we scroll through them, you'll see kind of like different colors, and they actually mean different things. Okay, ooh, red, you know, like be careful, that's probably admin. Ooh, silver. This means it could be positive or negative. There are some silver ones that actually have some reverse position. Like for instance, let me show you this one right here. Okay, basic elements of time is green. It's like, sure, we'll let people see the calendar. Okay, red is admin. Can I set up the different types of time? Can I do this? Can I even hide or show things depending on what? Like I have ultimate level type thing. Or the silver one, hey, I just want you to look. You can't touch, you can't add, you can't do anything. You can just look. So the silver in this one would actually be kind of like a negative permission. If I had this one, and this one all turned on, and because I had the silver one on, automatically it overrides the other two. It's going, sorry, I see that you have the view only. You're only going to be able to play to this level. Okay, it establishes that bridge. Okay, I'm just kind of coming back down. We were right here under reports. We're going to go to parts and general inventory page. I'm going to need parts admin, and I'm just going to kind of scroll down. Sales and profit reports. The rest of this stuff, this is financial. Bank balances, income statements, balance sheets, all advanced searches and exports. I'm going to go ahead and turn that one on. That's a nice little feature for an admin user to have. Okay, I'm now going into my system assets. And sometimes if you're just new to this, you're kind of like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like you'll get used to these terminology and this flow, and it's, oh, that's where this happens. Okay, so these are actually the physical permissions. I'm going to turn on basic quotes, basic invoices. I'm going to go ahead and give myself admin on invoices. I'm going to skip recipes and builds. I'm going to skip transitional invoices. Transitional invoices deal more with layaways and work orders and work in progress and things where there's a little element of time that's happening. So the invoice starts, and I might start getting payments, but it's not really physically rolled out for a section of time. We call it a transition invoice. We won't even deal with that right this second, but basically imagine a work order. You start working on a truck, and you're adding tires and new tailgates and all this kind of stuff. So you're technically pulling inventory, and you may even getting payments, but you don't want it to physically show up on your taxes until it's fully committed and done and out the door. Okay, so it kind of creates this transitional type deal. Okay, this is a silver permission. If I have this clicked, this is what you would do for your users. It's called hide costs and profits. If I click that, anywhere that I go that would show me a cost, other than on the PO side, because that's a literal piece of the PO, like say, for instance, I was just doing the sales, I could turn this on, and then my people who are using it can't see any of the costs. Okay, so sometimes managers like to turn this on for their only salesperson only. Okay, I'm going to leave it off. I'm going to turn on advanced add to cart because that's a nice one that we're going to kind of do. My virus protection is checking some different things out. We're going to scroll down. There are some options where you can actually do between worlds, so cross-corp sales type stuff. I'm going to skip deposits for right now. I'm going to go ahead and turn on basic receivables just because eventually we might want to see like who our customers owe us. And as we need some of these other pieces, we just add it to the bridge. So you can virtually, like Legos, construct this thing however you need to, okay? I'm just kind of scrolling down. We're going to skip reoccurring invoices. We're going to skip a bunch of these stock unit pieces. Once again, these are kind of different things that can happen to like stock units and bigger serialized units. Under system liabilities, I'm going to skip a bunch of these right now, and I'm going to kind of just say, hey, I'm going to just allow basic POs at this point in time, and I'm going to turn on the admin for that, maybe basic payables. A bunch of these we'll come back to. Here's some of your payroll, time clock stuff. Photo management, we'll say, yep, we'll do that. We'll skip FlexGrid for right now. We're going to talk about that tomorrow, and I'm going to go ahead and give myself customer. and go ahead and give myself vendors. And we're not going to do any sort of deposits and expense types. Here's some little special silver ones, global markup prices. Like basically instead of like, say we have a whole bunch of widgets, say we're like, man, we really need to up everything by 3% or whatever. We have some global tools that will work for you so you can do things in bulk. And so that's what that kind of allows you to do. I'm going to skip some more of these, make some models. That's dealing with stock units. We're going to skip some of your banking entities. Oh, I'm going to need location information right off the bat. Okay, I'm getting close to the pieces that I need. System management is the last one. These two guys right here in tandem actually allow you to create new users within that world. Okay, those two permissions. And this one here where you actually say the manage corp info and permissions, this gives you a higher level of this one. Plus, you can start dealing with the settings, the corp-wide settings. What are we going to call our locations? What are we going to call our salesperson? That type of thing. So those are the two that I normally turn on for an admin user. And then I'm going to go down and say add the permissions. So at this point, what we have is virtually we have a new world, and Brandon, whose home planet happened to be Morningstar Automotive, now has a bridge to a new planet. Okay, so I'm the only one that's currently in there. This is how we would set it up clear from the upper echelon. So what I'm going to do right now to show you how I can get in there is I'm going to go like this. I'm going to log out, and then I'm going to log back in, and then all of a sudden Denver Training will be under my options for corporations. Okay. So if I come down here towards the bottom and I say, oh, there it is, Denver Training. So virtually I'm transporting to that world, if you will, and I'm going to say click. Okay, so I'm currently the only one in here. If I say add edit payees and users, just Brandon is in here. Okay, if I wanted to create a new one, I could search and add. If you guys want to play along, would you guys like to play along? Okay, watch this. So specific to this corporation, instead of somebody being bridged in, we're going to create a new little person inside of here. I'm going to say search and add, and let's go ahead and call it I'm going to see if we have anything under train. We don't. I'm going to say add the new user. So all of a sudden I'm going to go like this. Denver Training. And we'll just put him under just an Adilas address for right now. Okay, we're going to keep the password quite simple. We're going to actually go like this, 2244, 2244. Okay, and I'm just going to put him some address. This is important. This particular person, if they're assigned to an invoice, guess what? Automatically, as the salesperson, it pulls in some of their information as well. Not all of their home address, but like email and contact information. You could actually contact directly to your area rep type deal. We'll just pretend a zip code here, and we'll kind of scroll down. At this point, I'm going to put him under Mountain Time. He is active. And now look at this. Now I get to actually assign him the quick permissions. I'm going to go like this just to kind of speed some stuff up. All the yellows and all the greens do it automatically, and then I'm going to just pop down through here so that this particular person has or doesn't have the correct permissions. Okay. Now, once again, you can, depending on what you want them to play with, you can actually come in here and say, hey, what do I want you to get? So I'm just going to quickly pop down through here as far as the pieces that I want this new one to have as far as options go. And I realize I'm kind of just going quick. Do you guys want me to talk through it or just kind of scroll through this? Just pop it through. Pop it through? Okay. Okay, basically I'm just kind of scrolling down. What I'm doing is I'm briefly looking at these little pieces of this person called Denver Training. Which pieces do I want him to be able to play with inside of my corporation? Please don't just give everybody anything. You literally are opening up every door in the site, okay? So like think of it as keys and doorways, okay? This is literally how you block people and or help them get in their own little spot where they can just play and play and play. Okay, we're just going to leave a whole bunch of these little pieces on. I'm only turning the ones off that I know we're not going to need. Okay. We're not going to do any sort of stock units right this second. You probably won't end up wanting that. And we're going to just kind of say, oh, we'll give you the all advanced. Once again, I'm really quickly kind of just hopping through here to be like, okay, yes, this particular person is going to have these kind of access rights. I'll give you advanced at the cart. And I'm going to turn off some of the deposit stuff. Some of the stock unit inventory pieces. Nothing in expenses. I will give you basic POs for right now. And I'll just give you basic POs for this other person. If we need another piece of that, we can turn it on. Photo management, I'm going to allow some flex grid stuff for right now, customer stuff. Basically, I'm just popping down through here, seeing if there's anything. Here's the important piece. This is actually going to create, this will give the person admin access, okay? Normally, you would not click this on, but however, if you guys wanted to log in and follow along, I wanted you to be able to have admin access so you can edit yourself, okay? So what we're going to do is we're just going to basically kind of pop through that, and as soon as I say add the payee, what we virtually have here, it's basically saying, hey, if you wanted to have the person use the time clock, you'd have to assign them to a department, okay? Because you can't use the time clock unless you're assigned to a department. I'm going to not worry about that right this second. We're just going to click home. Now watch this. I have 2 users now. If anybody of you guys want to actually log in, you're welcome to, okay? And how you would log in is you would actually log in under Denver Training, all lowercase, 2244. Yes?
So if I had a bunch of employees, but they were all doing the same job, I could put down most of the information, so all of the things that I want them to have access to, and just change a couple little things. Could I do that and then assign them all different? So that
Correct. So when you're actually creating this, you could technically use your back button if you wanted to create a user over and over and over again, and then you could actually create it to a whole different level.